Well, good morning. 21st of January 2021. 21st of December 2021. Almost 9 o'clock. It's snowing. Very nice. Yeah. Hey guys. I woke up this morning. Don't know when. However, when I looked at the phone, about 7. But for a while, I sat and meditated, and something that I learned last night in thinking. And what I learned was, where is gravity? We all kind of know what gravity is, and this came to me also. God brought it out to me, put it all together for me, I think, because I heard it from Darius, and I don't think I know that he did put it all together, because where wisdom comes from and understanding. Wisdom is fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and rejecting evil, it's beginning of the understanding, right? So let's see if we understand what gravity is. Gravity, we don't see it, but we see it in action, as Darius says, right? So Darius, my brother. So this is where the first I heard from. I think God spoke to me through him, but we don't see gravity. We don't see it physically. However, we see it in action. What does that mean? It means that we can walk on earth. We can walk on the surface and we don't float. That's what gravity is. Gravity, it's what we think it holds us on earth. Holds us with our feet on the ground, as we say, right? So, is it the gravity that does that? Or the law by which the gravity functions? Which law is that? That's the law of gravity. Right? If you have gravity, it sticks you to the ground. If you don't have gravity, you float. So the absence of gravity, it's floating. You float into space. So, by what means gravity functions? By law. Who keeps that law in balance? Because too much gravity crushes you. Right? Not enough gravity, you float. So, when we sit on the chair, you see what we think, oh, this chair is good. The company that made it must be very good because it's strong. But what keeps us down on the chair? First, I have to have faith that the chair will hold me, right? And I have faith that I'm gonna be sitting down, not floating. We don't think about that, though. We just believe and trust that the company or the man that made that chair is gonna hold us down. What holds us down? The chair or the gravity? Now, who gave the gravity? And who maintains it? Who maintains gravity? Who keeps it in balance? Not too strong, not too less. Just perfect. God is. So, if God keeps the balance, who keeps us on the chair? Also, how do we know that God exists? How do we know that God exists? So, if we don't check what holds us and we figure out there is gravity, and by which means, because if there's no gravitational law, we wouldn't know gravity exists. Right? So, how do we know God exists? Because somebody believes, because somebody said so, or because I have to check and verify for myself. right? How do I do that? Through laws, through which laws? You have indirect laws that's given by God, like gravity, like inertia, right? Like if you want to test gravity, you can just jump off a building, right? And the law of impact to see who's stronger, the ground or you. And some people test that because they never learned and they never thought that the laws are good for us. Laws are good for us. And the law of gravity says, hey, if it's no gravity, you're gonna float. And also the law of impact says, hey, if you're gonna go fast towards a wall, there is some damage that's gonna happen, right? And who's gonna win? The wall or me? Right? So the law is good for me. Until I accept and I trust in a lie that is sold to me as truth. That the laws are bad for me. Right? And Christ came to abolish them. Because Christ came, abolish the law. There's no more laws. Right? So, how do I know that God exists? Same like gravity. Did anyone see them? Face to face? I believe not. They would die, wouldn't they? Right? So, how do I test that God exists? Only through the laws. Indirect laws, gravity, eating food, the law of eating and the law of the foods is good or bad. If I eat bad food, I'm gonna feel sick. Stuff like that. That's by laws. How did laws came? How is a law that comes into existence? To be a law. First, there has to be a commandment that says, do not eat this food. Do not eat this bad food because you're gonna get sick. Or eat this food, right? So it may be well with you, right? So the direct laws that God implemented was, do not eat pig, for example, right? Pig is bad for you. However, I just understood now, not a few days ago, all right? How can I eat the pig? Like me buying it, me growing it. Because it's bad for me. You see, what's in the pig, like in me, it's bad. It's not compatible with what's in me, like the larva from it's skipping me right now. What was the name? But it's bad for you. It grows into your muscles, right? And so that's why God said, do not eat the pig. Do not eat these and these and these animals because they're not compatible with you. I know, because I made you. And at the same time, you can learn why they're clean and unclean animals. What are the unclean animals do compared to the clean ones? Unclean animals like dogs and wolves and lions and people, right? We all eat our offsprings. Moms are the ones that eat their offsprings when there is a famine. That's proven, that's documented, right? So dogs eat their offsprings when they're sick and, also for hunger. Yeah. Also lions do the same. So I never saw a goat or a cow or any of the clean animals, doves or whatever, eating their offsprings. Anyways, that was just a side note, but coming back to the commandments and laws. Laws came into effect because a command was given. Right? So, do we keep the commandments? Are the laws good? Do we keep the commandments? How many gods do we have? How many idols do we have? If we do not keep the commandments and we don't think the laws are good for us, the laws cannot punish us for anything. The one that gives the law is the only one that can punish and bless. The one that gives them. not the cup. The cup is just the effect. It's just the one that the judge uses to implement the law, to show me that I made a mistake. And it's not about the fine that I get. It's about why did I go 130 in a 30 speed zone, where school is, for example, not to run over people, kids. Yeah, but if I understand and I know that there's kids around and the law says, if I understand that the law meaning means, what's the law meaning mean? Like, if I go 130 in a 30 school zone, if a kid jumps in front of the car, because they're running one after another or whatever, how much time do I have to stop? Right? So if I run him over and he dies, what happens then? You see? So the law is good. But if I understand that, that's what happens. Not if the cop is catching me or not and gives me a fine. But if I understand what the law means, then I don't need the speed signs. Automatically I understand that the kids walk around, I'm going to go 15 kilometers an hour. Not 130. But a lot of people go 130 because they're in a hurry to do what? They're in a hurry to pay for the mortgage, pay for the livelihoods of their kids, pay for the wife being happy. But the truth is, that's the excuse. But we do all that for who? For who ultimately to be happy? For me? Of course. My kids, my house, my mortgage, that's just an excuse. That's worthless. I do that so I keep myself happy. Because I am the center of the universe, subconsciously. That's what I do. Because if I would realize who it is, then I know that I don't have to be slave to those things. No, I don't. It's good. And I thank God that He blesses me with what we have and what I have. However, I have to understand where it comes from, with whose blessing, by whose authorization. Definitely not by mine, because I'm so smart and wise to do things, is it? That's what we think. But is it true? We can only check if it's true if we can have a filter. What's the filter? If not the laws. If we're not able to filter them properly. Because I'm the one that goes 130 kilometers an hour because I got to pay for the mortgage, pay for the case, pay for blah, 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 blah. Right? So then I need the speed limits. And that's the law. To show me why I'm going fast. That I'm doing a mistake. Until I don't need it anymore. Right? So the laws are spiritual, not carnal. We make them carnal. Why? Why don't we like to test the things that we receive, if it's true or lie? Yeah? Why? If we would understand that the laws are good for us and they're still active, and the commandments stand, not abolished. They stand. And we have a lot of work to do. And that work is to judge ourselves, our actions. Judge our actions every day. God gives us grace, this loan to wake up. What we do with it. What we do with the day that God gives us by His grace as a loan today. Do we check ourselves? Do we check and see what is in our heart that makes us do the things that we do? Because our will is good. God created us in His image. Our will is good. We want good for everyone and for ourselves. Why our actions are bad? Why, you see, let's say I look at the commandments and I test them. And I say, first commandment, do not have gods, other gods, right? Beside me. Do I have gods beside God? Well, usually we say yes. I mean, no. No, I don't have a God. Just God is there. But did I test and see if it's true? Would I jump in front of a train for the kids? For who, for who do I go and do I go to work for the kids? Do I go to work for the wife? Do I go to work for the mortgage? Do I go to work for the car? And those are my gods. Those are my gods. So, do I have other gods? Well, it seems like I do. But a minute ago, I thought I don't. Because I didn't test it. So now, second commandment is do not have idols. So, do I have any idols? And by the way, including in the first commandment, by wearing a mask, who do I obey? By getting a vaccine, who do I obey? The one, the God in heaven, Yahweh. Second commandment is do not have idols. Do I have idols? Of course not. I don't have an idol sitting around, bowing down to. That's the first impression. Right? So, let's test that and see. Who it's keeping those gods that just earlier I said I don't. Who I'm trying to satisfy by having a God like a house, kids, cars. Thinking that the kids are mine. Being a slave and a prisoner to a house. Being a slave to a vacation. Being a slave to a dog, to whatever it is. Who ultimately I'm trying to satisfy? So, is that me? Oh yes. I say I do it for somebody else. But the truth is, I'm doing it so I'm happy. Right? Because if the wife has a nice car and jewelries and whatever, she's happy. Then who she satisfies? Me. So, ultimately, who I'm doing it for? For me? Yes. So, who's the biggest idol? I am. Do I have idols? Oh yes. The biggest one. The center of the universe. That's what I think. Subconsciously, that's what we do. Right? Because we don't understand it. We don't have the knowledge. Now, these days that we live in, to this date, what's the biggest idol that is out there beside us? Is it called COVID? Is it? Who made or who gave the law or who gave the mandate, it's not a law, a mandate to wear a mask? Who made the vaccines? To do what? So, if my God is the mask and the vaccine, to whose pleasure? So COVID can kill and save whoever it wants, right? Kills as many people as it wants, right? It's globally, it's everywhere, invisible, yeah? And it has powers, yeah, divine powers to take life and give life, yeah? Saves who it wants. Saves the kids, well, now it doesn't, but chooses who to save and who doesn't. Take the vaccine, you get saved. Don't take it, you're not saved. You die. So who's the biggest idol? Is that an idol or not? Well, by definition, I think it is. So if I verify to see if it's true or not, what I believe, is COVID real? Is it given by who? You know, can I see it? Can I test it? Can it be isolated? Oh, no, of course not. So, is it true? I don't know. Let's see. So, do I have idols? Do I break the second commandment and the first? Yes, I do. But just a minute ago, I wasn't. The truth is, I do. And